Wicked comeback last week, Mickey. I mean, we almost gained everything back. So the question is it a legit comeback?
That's a great question, because when we have weeks like this that follow weeks like 2 weeks ago when the market looked horrible, it is very confusing even for people like myself who do this for a living. And it further proves why you can't make these irrational trades as an investor and just jump out and think I'm getting out. Where are we going from here? I don't know. We're probably going to see more volatility moving forward. But I mean, this past week was the best week since 2013, followed by one of the worst weeks ever. So, I didn't expect to see this much of a bounce. Will be interesting to see how much further we have upcoming week, if there is still more room, or if it's just kind of in technical terms on the charts, what we call a Fibonacci retracement, like a 67% retracement, which is the top of the move here. But it was amazing. I mean, it's just almost like you said, we went from correction mode back up to just, it's only down a little bit.
Well, you brought up a point before we actually started recording this video about how the CPI index was up sharply, which would indicate, inflation is potentially on the rise. That would trigger higher Fed interest rates, and the market seemed to shrug it off. At the same token, you had a report from the Justice Department from Mueller's investigation, the special counselor indicting folks on the Russia probe, and the market seemed to sell off a little bit of that. It seemed like one should have had an effect and the other one shouldn't, but the opposite was true. So how do you, just as an investor, as an advisor to others, how do you reconcile all that?
That's a good question. And, when we had the CPI number come out, the market was down, I think, around 200 points pre-market. And then it just took off. And as an advisor, I'm sitting here watching this and I'm like, this is amazing, because this was a big number that people were watching and saying this is going to kind of be the first number that sets the tone for what's happening with the Fed. But the market just didn't care. And it made me look at the market and say, are we going back to the way it was a month ago? We get back into this melt up where these computer programs take over and people are kind of sitting in the sidelines. And as you said, last Friday, we had the FBI the indictments from the Justice Department. And that made the market sell off when we're like, well, we knew these were coming at some point. So, again, with investors, you can't worry day by day. You have to look at the trend, and the trend is still going up. Maybe not as strong as it has been, and maybe we are getting closer to a top in the market. But then when we look at the economy, we see things that are still strong. It's hard to say we're at the top, but you can't just jump out, and because the market gets a little choppy. And we haven't seen a point where the market has actually changed directions yet. So, we're just telling our clients just to stay in the same positions, and we'll keep going forward.
Well, as they do, obviously they're still going to have some questions about when to pull the trigger, when not, how it fits into their overall financial strategy. Just give your contact information again, Mickey. Let's tell people how they can get a hold of you during this time.
They can email me directly, Mickey, Mickey, at Envestim, ENVESTIM.com. They can follow us on our Facebook page, which is Envestim, and they can follow us on Twitter at Investim1.
Mickey, thanks as always. It's going to be an interesting continued couple of weeks. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good, David. Thank you very much.